Halito ang kana sa Ochifoya Brian Oaster, Leopard High Country News. The Department of the Interior has declared the SQ slur to be derogatory towards Indigenous women and is pushing for the removal of the slur from over 600 geographic place names around the country, and they want it done fast. But expediting the process is creating another problem. State agencies are like, how are we supposed to rename these places? And the Interior's answer has been, just name them after something close by. Unfortunately, that means we're going to end up with a lot more places named Columbia or whatever. What about using indigenous place names? I spoke with Sarah Palmer, an official from Washington State, and she says the state has a better long-term solution. A casual visitor to 4-H Park in Albuquerque may not know what the park actually is. The city built the park over what used to be a section of the Albuquerque Indian School. It was the cemetery. Indian schools were schools with cemeteries. The city had forgotten that the children were there. They found bones when they built the park in the 1970s, but they didn't put up headstones or even a fence. They just built the park anyway. And those lost children have been there for over 100 years, and their families have never had answers. But in August, the city began working with tribes and federal agencies to gather information and find the best solutions for healing and reconciliation. They've used non-invasive ground-penetrating radar to analyze the site, but they haven't released their findings to the public yet. Kalen Goodluck tells us more. Let's go to Colorado. In Manitou Springs, a tourist attraction offers contact with quote-unquote authentic Native American cliff dwellings, but how authentic are they really? Well, Miles W. Griffis did the research, so you don't have to. The short version is ancestral Pueblans never even lived near Manitou Springs. The structures here are cobbled together from a village 300 miles away over the Rockies that was dismantled in 1907 and carted in chunks to Manitou, and they're not even cliff dwellings. The long story is better, though. It includes women's suffrage, casual looting, generic Indian flute music, possible NAGPRA violations, and shaman wisdom cards. This is a good feature. You're going to like it. We also have some new shorts by Kylie Moore at hcn.org celebrating Idaho's only Black History Museum and a library in Utah devoted to the form, fashion, and function of skiing. Check it out, and I'll see you next week. I'm Brian Oaster, and now you know the West. Chipis la chiki.